to me and the Divine Light Yoga community. So I'm Laura, obviously, and I started off probably like some of you as an early years educator, so working in schools. I was an international school teacher, and for the last kind of 20 years, I've been working with children in all sorts of different capacities. But I was working in international schools, and I was really seeing a lot of children struggling with anxiety, hyperactivity, difficulties concentrating, obviously difficulties with hyperactivity disorders. And that has just continued to increase the diagnoses, and thankfully the awareness of it as well has increased dramatically over the last 20 years. And so I started to bring in some yoga, well, more so mindfulness actually, and relaxation into my regular classroom. And it just completely changed my approach to teaching, my approach to children in general life, and it changed my life dramatically and took me on this course of leaving the full-time world of education and actually going into full-time children's yoga with a therapeutic, educational, playful approach to yoga, with a real focus on, you know, growth mindset, supporting children with self-esteem, resilience, confidence, all of these beautiful, wonderful things that we want to empower children to feel and be. And that has led me to now be living in Mexico. So before that, I was living in Asia for 14 years. And just being able to reach people online through the trainings and doing the trainings all over the world. So it's completely transformed my life. And now I'm, you know, doing the training online, which is a wonderful way to be able to reach people who can't ordinarily come to the trainings in Mexico or Thailand, which is a little bit different, but you get a little piece of Mexico here on the workshops. So yeah, I want to get to know you ladies a little bit, and for you to see what really goes on in the workshops and inside the training. So I would like to start with a meditation, just to get everybody focused, get everybody in the virtual room, get everybody into this space where you can really absorb as much as possible. I want this to be, of course, an educational and playful experience for you. And I know we've all got a lot going on in the outside world. So it's up to you whether you want to step to the side or you want to switch your camera off for the relaxation. And it'll just be maybe 4 or 5 minutes. And I know you might feel like, oh, I've got so much to do, I don't really have time to spend 4 or 5 minutes meditating. But for the next 90 minutes, I really want to share so much with you that getting a clear, focused mind is going to help you, just like it does with the kids that we work with. It will help you your brain will be optimized for learning, and you'll be able to soak in a lot more than you would if I just went straight into it. So just finding a comfortable position where you can still hear my voice. So whether that's seated, if that feels comfortable for you. If you're feeling a little bit tired today, you might want to sit against a wall or a chair that supports you and supports your spine, which is something I do with the teens all the time. Or you can lie down if that feels more comfortable for you. And then I would just invite you to close your eyes, or if it doesn't feel comfortable closing your eyes with your camera on, that's fine. You can just lightly gaze towards the floor so that you can really start to focus within. You can start to focus on what you're physically feeling. So what's going on inside your own body. So let's start with a couple of cleansing breaths. So keeping your eyes closed, take a deep breath in through your nose and then sigh it out through your mouth. A deep inhale through your nose, sending the breath deep into your belly, up into the rib cage, your chest, and then sighing it out through your mouth. One more deep, cleansing, clearing breath in. And then sighing it out through your mouth, releasing any tension, any expectations, any thoughts through that exhalation. And just allowing your breath to be relaxed, to be normal, trusting that your breath knows exactly what your body needs. Let your mind start to wander through your body. So starting at the top of your head, scanning your body from your head all the way down through the shoulders, noticing any parts of your body that feel tight, uncomfortable. Allowing your mind to travel down through your torso, the sides of your body, down into the legs. Without judging your body, just really noticing what's going on for you physically right now. Allowing the mind to travel all the way down to the soles of your feet, tips of your toes. And slowly traveling all the way back up through the knees, hips, up to the shoulders, the back of your neck, and the top of your head. Being fully aware of any sensations or any part of your body that is calling your attention. Noticing your breath. Again, without judging, without trying to control the breath, just trusting that your breath knows what your body needs right now. Allowing the inhale to bring some clarity into your mind. And the exhale to be releasing in whatever way you need to release today. So that's releasing thoughts, releasing expectations of yourself, of today's workshop, just letting all of that flow out of your body and your mind with your breath. And then bringing your attention to your heart center. And if you like, you can place one hand over your heart. Keep that breath flowing through the body. Bringing your attention into your heart center, your heart space. This is often a place where we find messages or intentions that we need to tune into. We're listening carefully, tuning into your heart and your intuition. And pulling out an intention for our time today. Your intention may be something very simple. Whatever it is that your heart, your intuition is saying to you, just trusting that, even if it feels a little bit weird, even if your intention is something that you've never really thought about before. Again, just trusting. Take a nice deep breath into your belly, all the way up into your heart space, the back of your shoulders. And then sigh it out through your mouth. Noticing how you feel, both physically, mentally, energetically, however that means, or whatever that means for you. Whenever you feel ready, you can blink your eyes open And you can type in the chat box if you like, just 1 or 2 words about how you're feeling at this present moment. So not how you think you should feel or how you want to feel, but really how you're feeling, whether that's physically, mentally, emotionally, energetically. You can just type it in the box. And I think a couple of words for me, how I'm feeling right now is definitely grateful. So grateful to have you ladies on the workshop. And calm. I think grounded is a better one for me. Yeah. So we've got Annika's feeling calm. Rachel also feeling calm. Nice. Yeah, I think it's really important to kind of bring everybody into this same space. And it's okay if you're not calm. Maybe your mind was distracted, and that is just how life is sometimes. You know, breathing techniques and relaxations are not always effective. Hopefully most of the time they are. All right. So today's focus, obviously, therapeutic approaches for I put childhood anxiety, but it obviously also including teens. And the reason that I chose this subject to share today is because, as I mentioned before, the increasing amount of diagnoses of children and teenagers with anxiety disorder, with some form of anxiety disorder. So that includes panic disorder, OCD, but mostly we're seeing stress and anxiety within young children and teens. And the average age that children are diagnosed now with an anxiety disorder is 7. So it's really, really young that we're actually experiencing, whether you're working with children within yoga and wellness, whether it's therapeutic, whether it's in the classroom or you're a social worker, however you're working with children, given the amount of children that are experiencing anxiety and anxiety disorder on a daily basis, you are definitely going to encounter children who they might be experiencing it and you're not necessarily aware of it. So today I'm going to give you some tips on how you can support them and empower them to overcome anxiety in any capacity, stress and anxiety. But also I want you to be maybe a little bit more aware of what anxiety and anxiety disorder actually looks like within children. Because sometimes we can see children and we just say, oh, they're just so hyperactive, oh, they're full of energy, but actually what they're experiencing is anxiety. But to us, or to their families as well, it might just seem like they're super hyperactive and over-energized, but actually internally it is this anticipation of something that is going to happen. So it's a stress or, of course, anxiety. So firstly, let's have a little look. I'm going to share my screen with you so that we can have a little look at what is actually happening inside the body and the brain when children are experiencing anxiety. So firstly, our brain is, there's still part of our brain that hasn't actually evolved with society. Okay, society, technology, the world in general is rapidly moving forward, rapidly evolving, and our brain just can't keep up with it. And there's a part of our brain, that this survival part of our brain, that is still very much in caveman days, where it used to be that our brain would interpret something as a threat, something is dangerous. But now, such as, oh, there's a bear over there, or oh, there's something that is a genuine threat to my life. But now, because the way in which the world has evolved and continues to evolve, our brains are actually interpreting a lot more as a threat. So on a daily basis, everything that we see on screen, films, trailers, video games, anything that you might see on Instagram, especially with teenagers who are spending a lot of time on technology, a lot of time on social media, their brains are actually, whatever they're seeing, they're interpreting the brain is interpreting that as a genuine threat to their life. So it is stimulating this, fight or flight response. Walking down the street when there's so much overstimulation, there's people coming everywhere, there's cars, there's sounds, there's lights, there's screams, it's very overstimulating. And again, the brain is trying to filter all of that and interprets a lot of that as being a threat. So children, of course, who don't necessarily have the control over their conscious mind, whose brain hasn't yet developed where they can consciously think, no, this is okay, I'm safe. It is triggering the body to go into anticipation of or into fight or flight mode, because it's like the brain has said, okay, this is a threat to us, and it sparks that fear center in the brain, and then the body goes into, okay, we need to be ready to fight or flight. Okay, back in the day, see the bear, we need to probably run from the bear, or we need to fight it. However, now we're walking down the street, the kids are going into school, they're in the car, they're watching a movie, they're playing a video game, all of that, the brain is going, okay, we need to be in fight or flight mode. We need to be ready to flee, to run, or we need to be ready to fight. Either way, we need to be in action. So the brain then sends signals through the nervous system, and it is the sympathetic nervous system that's activated. So the sympathetic nervous system is the part of the body that is saying, okay, we need to be awake, alert, we need to take action. Something is happening here and we need to go. It's really survival mode. It's like, something is happening here, we need to take action. So that is happening in the nervous system. And then, of course, because our body is very, incredibly intelligent, it then results in increased heart rate, increased breathing, excessive heat, so sweating, perspiration, overactive mind, overactive body, eyes are dilated, the brain is unfocused, because the brain is, the senses are heightened, because the brain is trying to take everything in, because it is like, okay, where is the danger here? What is going on? So then children are obviously becoming overstimulated and not able to concentrate, of course, not prepped for learning, for sure, and need to move. Yeah, because if you can imagine that it being in this state where the brain is telling their body, we are in danger, we need to move now. So then you might see them moving, wriggling, shaking. If they're trying to control it, then the body might actually be shaking, because they're consciously trying to control, the parent or the teacher saying, okay, sit still now, we're going to have story time, or we're getting ready for bed now. But the body and the nervous system is like, no, but we need to move, we need to flee, we're in, fear center, woo, woo, woo. We need to go. So it's incredibly difficult for children to actually control what the physical body is doing. They don't necessarily have the knowledge or the tools to override the nervous system. And that is what we are going to do with the tools and techniques that I share today, and what we can do through yoga and breath work and mindfulness, is actually teach children how to manipulate the nervous system, how to override the natural state, so that they can take themselves from being, overstimulated, where their heart rate is significantly increased, where they're out of control of their breath, so that they can actually regain control and work with their own nervous system. And of course, with children, we don't need to go into details with this. With teens who are interested, I love to talk about what's going on inside the brain and the nervous system and the body as a whole, so that they can really start to understand this on a fundamental level, so that when they are in the situation, they are able to recognize the signs of the sympathetic nervous system being activated, and then they know how to override it. They know how to manipulate their own brain and nervous system, which in itself is very, very empowering to be able to teach children and teenagers how to consciously override these systems and regain control of them. So as a result of, all of this going on in the body, where they are hyper stimulated, they are fully active in preparation for action, anticipation, and a lot of children who have anxiety disorder are in anticipation all of the time, so it's this worry or stress. Sometimes they, as I say, they don't know why they feel like this. They're not even aware that they feel like this. And they might, from an outsider's point of view, you might just be seeing that they can't sit still, that their eyes are looking everywhere, that they're unfocused, that they're just overstimulated, and therefore, having difficulties learning, they're having difficulties concentrating in your class. But it might be that all of this is going on. And then as a result, because of I'd say an overall result that's impacting the body as a whole immediately, but obviously on the long term as well, is that because the body's in this state of preparing for action, the body says, okay, we don't need to pay attention to anything else. Right now, we're going to be fleeing from this situation, right? We need to be in action mode. So we don't need other systems to be working that are not essential to me being able to run really fast away from this situation. So the digestive system shuts down because that is not an essential system for survival in that moment. The excretion system shuts down. It impacts the immune system. So you might see a decrease in the immune system, especially long term. But immediately you may see children who are struggling with their digestion. And that's where often when you see, if you're teaching yoga and you see them in relaxation, and this is with adults too, you see them in relaxation and then they're like, oh, I need to go to the bathroom. And at first I used to be like, oh, come on, you just went to the bathroom like 5 minutes ago. We're trying to do relaxation. And now I'm like, oh yeah, you need to go to the bathroom. That's great. That means that you're relaxed. That means that you've moved into the parasympathetic nervous system, this rest and digest, where all of the systems start to kick in again. The digestive system's working, the excretion system's working, blood flow is as it should be, the breath rate, the respiratory system has started to slow down. And that is exactly where we want them to be. So that's kind of like a overview of what's actually going on inside the children's brain, the nervous system, and physically what you'll be able to see from them when they are experiencing anxiety. And anxiety disorder is the prolonged daily anxiety. So usually in order for a child to be diagnosed with anxiety disorder, they need to have been experiencing daily or consistent anxiety for a period of 6 months. So there's, 15% of people are diagnosed with anxiety disorder, but it is estimated that around 30%, so basically a third of the population of the planet, are actually experiencing anxiety disorder. So we all experience anxiety, and a little bit of stress is good for the body. We need that. Our brain is really trying to protect us. But when it's prolonged for 6 months or longer, that is when we're really seeing significant effects on the child's brain development, learning, obviously, and then, as I say, all these other systems within the body, immune system, digestive system in particular, are being significantly affected. So with the tools that I talk about today, and the many other tools that we can use in yoga and mindfulness, it's not just for children with anxiety, but it is that we are wanting to introduce these tools to children so that they can actually strengthen the nervous system and work with the part of the nervous system that is rest and digest, that is restoring, that is, you know, a place where the cells can start to regenerate, the cells can start to, the body can start to heal, where they are in a place that is kind of cool, calm, focused, and where they are in this place where learning can be optimized, where they can make healthy decisions, where they can problem solve, because obviously when they're in this situation, sympathetic nervous system is stimulated or activated, they're not able to make healthy choices. They're not actually really able to problem solve at all. And the decision making it's not conscious, it's quick, it's rapid, it's active. So just type in the comment box and let me know, have you seen children, whether it's your children at home or children that you work with, have you seen them in this state, whether it's that you've recognized it as anxiety, or perhaps you've seen it and thought, because I, for sure, before I knew all of this, you know, when I was working with children in classrooms, I would definitely see them, especially the boys, you know, and I'd just be like, oh, they're just hyperactive children. But looking back on it now, it's like, no, actually, they were experiencing serious, like, not serious, but they're experiencing anxiety anticipation of like, what's actually going to happen today? What are we doing today? You know, it's like a new school year, it's a new teacher, and that's the anticipation of, you know, not really, the unknown can obviously trigger anxiety or stress, especially within younger children. All right. So Annika, you work with children with autism, so I've seen it. Yeah, definitely. And when you're working with certain groups of children and certain ages as well, it can be presented very differently. You know, for the younger children, it might be that you see them in this state where they're just fidgeting and they can't keep still, and they might be trying to control it, but they just can't, and they're really distracted. And then with the teenagers, they're obviously much more aware of what is appropriate behavior in a classroom, or in, you know, so what's appropriate social behavior. So they're able to almost suppress the behavior a little more, of course, than the younger children, but still internally there can be a lot of repetitive thoughts. It's still the same, you know, part of the nervous system that's being triggered, that's being activated. So even if they might look like they're focused, internally, they might be having this constant stream of thought that does not allow them to actually concentrate, certainly doesn't enable them to learn. And then we're still seeing the rest of the body, the other systems within the body are really shut down. Okay, so the best way, I feel always, the best way to really understand what a child is experiencing is to put yourself in that position. And then I'm going to lead us through a short therapeutic class, so a short therapeutic practice that you can do definitely with teenagers. I would say you can for sure use these techniques with younger children as well. We'll just maybe adapt them a little bit. And it will be around 20 minutes. So this is like a short version of something that maybe if you're working with teens and you're going into schools and, you know, they've only allocated 20 minutes a week for you to come in, because especially in high school, secondary schools, they don't necessarily have an hour for you to be able to come in. So it might just be a 20-minute session where you can go in and support children, teenagers with exam stress and overcoming exam anxiety. Or you can definitely stretch this out and make it into a 60-minute class if you're leading it in a yoga studio, or as an after-school activity, or in a community center, or anywhere else that you might choose to work with children. So firstly, we are going to get ourselves into not an anxious state, because it's not a fun way to bring into the session. but we are going to activate the sympathetic nervous system. So we're going to do that through dance. So we're going to do maybe 3-minute dance. If you're like, oh my gosh, I'm not a dancer, it's just basically getting your heart rate, getting your breathing rate going, activating the sympathetic nervous system. So you can just shake it out. You can definitely step away from the camera. You don't have to be in front of the camera. And we'll do around 2 minutes just to get the heart rate going. And then I'll immediately lead you into a therapeutic session for children and teens. And the idea behind this is so that you can really feel, your body is actually feeling, your nervous system is in that zone of what will be happening to children and teens when they're experiencing anxiety, so that you can see how it's important to actually lead them from this hyper aroused state into a state of calm, cool, focused. Okay, and then we'll go over at the end of the 20 minutes, we'll go over exactly what we did, why we did it, and how you might adapt it to different age groups. Okay, so is everybody ready for a little dance time? Yay! Okay, I can see some smiling faces and some clapping, so that's all good. So I'm gonna stand over here. And I'm outside, so my neighbors are going to think I'm crazy, but that's okay. I'm used to it. Tuesdays and Thursdays when I teach are my crazy days. Let's put some music on. All right. Can you hear me? Can you hear that? All right. So come back, and before you sit down, we're going to do some cleansing breaths. So take a nice deep breath in, reach your arms up. And then breathe out with it through your mouth. Fold forward. So you're going to breathe in. Through your nose if you can. One more time. Breathe in. You can just shake it out a little bit. Come to sit down. All right, so you might be able to notice your heartbeat. Maybe for me, I'm feeling a lot in my head. Feeling my blood flowing around my body, feels good. But not ready for positive decision making or learning anything new. All right, so we're going to do some of those cleansing breaths seated. So let's take a deep breath in through your nose if you can. And then through your mouth. So 2 more times. If you like, you can close your eyes. So deep breath in through your nose. Just letting your arms go up and wide. And then out through your mouth. One more time. So inhaling deeply, reach your arms up. See if you can take a deeper breath in. Maybe hold the breath at the top. And then out through your mouth. Nice. And then get your fingertips. We're just going to tap the top of our head. So again, if you like to close your eyes, you can do that so that you can focus a little bit more inward. And we're going to tap, tap, tap all the way down the back of the head, the back of the neck, tapping along the collarbone. Really nice. So wherever feels good, I'm tapping on the forearms, shoulders, chest, tapping down the sides of the body, and onto your thighs, all the way down towards the feet. Tap the tops of your feet if that feels good, or anywhere that I haven't said. Then back up onto the belly, maybe the back, and then back up to fingertips on the chest, into the collarbone, all the way up. You know, this is a no-no for COVID, but on your face, under your eyes, just let your eyes relax a little bit. Let the tapping slow down as you come up to the top of your head. Nice. Keeping that slow tapping, take a deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. Just let your hands slide down through your ears. Just give yourself a little massage. So making circular motions with your thumb. You can even gently pull on your ears as you go up. So then we're going to do a humming bee breath here. So we're actually going to cover our ears with our hands. And we'll make a humming bee sound. So on the exhale, we'll be making this sound. And we'll do it 3 times. So if you like, you can close your eyes. I'll do the first 2 with you. So you can inhale through your nose. Exhale. And when you're ready, you can release your hands and just check in and notice how you're doing. So maybe place your hand over your heart and just notice where your heartbeat is at. It's okay if it's still a little bit more rapid than usual. You can take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And we're going to come to lie down on your back. So you can take any position that feels good for you. Just making sure that you can still hear my voice. So you can lie, if it doesn't feel good to lie down, obviously you can stay seated, but lying down is going to help you relax a little bit more. So you can lie on our backs. And just making sure that your back feels comfortable, and if your body feels like it needs to wiggle a little bit, that's totally fine. You can always bend your knees and move your knees from side to side. So if your body still needs a little bit of wiggling or movement, you can go ahead and do that. And we're going to close our eyes if they're not already closed. And let's place our hands on, your belly. I'm going to guide you. So just notice how your breath is right now. And again, you might feel that it's more rapid than usual, but that's okay. We're going to learn how to slow it down and take control of that. So let's breathe all of the air out of your body. And then inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhaling deeply into your belly. Exhaling fully, drawing all of the air out of the body. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale. I am calm. Exhale. I am safe. Inhale. I am calm. Exhale. I am safe. And just stay with that nice deep breath if you can. Same with your mantra. I am calm. I am safe. Do 4 more deep breaths like this by yourself, keeping your mind really focused. And you can stretch your legs and your arms out. You're in a full relaxation. And just let your breath do whatever it needs to do, so you don't need to control your breath anymore. And keeping your eyes closed. Notice your feet. Let your mind focus on your feet. And relax your feet, relax your toes. My feet are relaxed. I relax my feet. And bring your attention to your legs and your knees. Let your legs feel really heavy, like your bones are dropping down into the ground. I relax my legs. My legs are relaxed. Bring your attention up to your belly. Let your belly be soft. No need to control it. Just let your belly move nicely with your breath. I relax my belly. My belly is relaxed. Your hands and your arms be soft. Shoulders heavy in the ground. I relax my arms. My arms are relaxed. Noticing all the muscles in your face, your forehead, your eyes, your jaw, mouth. Relaxing all the muscles in your face. I relax my face. My face is relaxed. I relax my body. My body is relaxed. I relax my mind. My mind is relaxed. letting your whole body, your breath, your mind rest and relax. Now bring your focus, your attention to your forehead, to the space in between your eyebrows. And this is our space of clear thinking. It's also our center of imagination, being able to see ourselves however we want to be, however we want to feel. So imagine yourself standing in a beautiful place in nature, somewhere that you feel safe, it's quiet, you feel calm. You're walking along this path, feeling safe. Notice what you can see, what you can smell. You reach your hands out and notice what you touch. And just ahead of you, you see this beautiful tree. It's a huge, big tree. You can see on the tree there are lots of ribbons, colorful ribbons attached to the tree. And this big, powerful tree is called the worry tree. This is a place where you can hang all of the things that are making you feel worried, or stressed, or doubtful. And the tree will take all of those worries and all of that stress and pull it down into the air. Let it flow into the air and create something new, something beautiful. You take some colored ribbons. You start to tie each ribbon on the tree. With every ribbon that you tie, you tell the tree something that you're worried or stressed about. And you know that that worry will disappear into the tree, down into the earth, to be transformed into something new, something beautiful. We'll take the next few moments so that you can spend some time tying the colored ribbons onto the tree branches, telling the tree all of your worries, anything that's making you feel uncomfortable, anything that is maybe making you feel a bit stressed, any doubt, knowing that that worry will transform into something beautiful in nature. it's time to say goodbye to the tree, to leave the worry tree. Just say thank you to the tree, thank you to nature for taking away your worries, your stress, anything that has been feeling uncomfortable. Knowing that you can come back to the tree at any time that you need to. All you need to do is close your eyes and see the tree there, knowing that it will take away anything that you no longer want in your mind or your body. You can place your hands on the tree, giving it a little moment of gratitude for helping you and supporting you. And then bring your mind back to focus on your body. Take a deep breath into your belly and then sigh it out through your mouth. Noticing your body resting on the ground. And just notice how your body feels. You might like to place one hand on your heart, maybe one hand on your belly. And feel your breath slow and controlled, coming in and out of your body. Noticing your heart rate. So maybe you can feel your heart beating. Maybe it's slow and calm. You can't really feel it at all. So everything is okay. We'll just say 3 times to ourselves our mantra. I am safe. I am calm. I am safe. I am calm. I am safe. I am calm. Start to wiggle your fingers, move your toes, maybe move your head from side to side. When you're ready, you can either stretch out your body or you pull your knees into your belly to hug, give yourself a hug. And you can roll to one side. And whenever you feel ready, you can bring yourself up to a comfortable seat. Just noticing how you feel physically. Notice where your mind is. If your mind is in a different place, bring it back to your body. And take one more deep breath in through your nose, down into your belly. And sigh it out through your mouth. And just rub your hands together so that you can feel some warmth, some heat in your hands. And then place your hands over your eyes so that you can feel the warmth of your hands on your eyes, your forehead. And then you can blink your eyes open and release your hands. And you can just type in the chat box how you're feeling. So you can either type a word, or what I like to do with the teens I work with is just say on a scale of 1 to 5 how you're feeling. So 1 being that you're feeling calm, quiet, relaxed. 5 being that you're feeling maybe unfocused, a little bit cloudy, a little bit scatty. So on a scale of 1 to 5, and if you're still feeling a 5, that's totally fine. Always giving permission to be honest in your classes with your children and teens. So, you know, it might be that they're still feeling a little bit distracted, and that's okay, because that's, you know, yoga is a practice. All right, where's my chat? So a 2, that's nice. Calm and relaxed. A 1, Rachel's feeling 1, nice. I'm definitely feeling a 1.5 after leading that. So it's good for you as well as the teacher to, make sure that you are also working with your own nervous system, especially if you're doing lots of classes, so that you're also self-soothing as you do this. And of course, your energy, your tone of voice, your body language is going to have an effect on the children as well. So it's really important that as you're doing these restorative classes where you are working with the children's nervous system and their brain to help them to feel cool, calm, restored, that you also are in this phase of working with your nervous system to bring yourself into this soothing, nurturing, calming state as well. So let's have a little look at what we actually did in the class. So as I said, that was 20 minutes. Move you ladies over here. So it was like a 20-minute trial session, which you can see even if you only have 10 minutes with them, if you're doing this perhaps online, or you're just doing 10 minutes, even 5 minutes at the beginning of your regular classroom sessions, or if you're working therapeutically with children, you can see how you can quickly take them from this state of having a high heart rate, perspiration, eyes dilated, unfocused, hyperstimulated. Within 5 minutes, they're already starting to come into a more focused zone. And then obviously if you have 20 minutes, certainly if you have 60 minutes with them, you're definitely taking them through that cycle to be able to bring them fully into this rest and digest state. So what we actually did, firstly, of course, we did the dancing. Thank you very much for participating in that, for being very playful with me. So bringing them into this, bringing you into this place where you can start to at least physically feel where the kids are going to be at. And as teachers, as adults, as parents, as therapists, we need to be meeting the children where they're at. So it's not possible for if the kids are coming in and they've got a high heart rate, they're unfocused, they're hyper aroused, overstimulated, overexcited. If you ask them to sit down or lie down, if you ask them to just be calm, they're literally not able to do that. So it's not that they're not to do that, they physically cannot do that because the sympathetic nervous system is activated, and that is so strong that they are not able to consciously override that. Not unless they've been practicing, all of these techniques for a long time, in which case they're probably not going to be in an overexcited, overstimulated place anyway. So it's not that they're choosing to be difficult, it's that physically their body will not allow them to just go, oh, okay, what, you asked me to be calm and quiet? No problem. Even as an adult, if I'd asked you straight away after dancing, if I asked you straight away to lie down and be quiet, yes, you could do that. Because that's socially appropriate, because we're used to doing that. But would you be calm? No. Instantly, no. You would not be able to be calm. You would have to start implementing some techniques yourself in order to switch yourself into a place where you're feeling calm, where your heart rate decreases, where your breathing slows down. You would have to consciously, you'd really have to think about ways in which you could slow all of that down in your body. So even as adults, we're also going through these cycles. We're still working with the same mechanisms within the brain and the nervous system. So we can't just, you can ask them, teenagers, to come in, lie down and be quiet, and they will be, but they won't be calm. So internally, they'll still have all these thoughts going, the heart will still be racing, their breathing will still be going, the digestive system will be shut down, the immune system will still be activated or impacted, and hormones will be flooding their body. So even though they're lying down quietly, there's still adrenaline flowing through their body. And we need to, of course, meet them where they're at and then bring them slowly through this cycle so that they are fully in the state of, you know, activating the part of the nervous system that is rest, digest, relax. So first of all, I got you to just shake it out a little bit. And then we did 3 cleansing breaths. So still while we were standing, you know, we did the deep inhale and then the shh breath. So those breathing techniques that are coming out through the mouth, they are releasing. So releasing, of course, anxiety, frustration, physically releasing for the body, releasing heat. So especially where it's like a really open mouth, it's actually releasing heat from the body. So releasing excess heat and starting to take control of the breath. So you're, you know, consciously saying to that part of your brain, hey, okay, I'm conscious now, I'm starting to take control of the breath. It's quick and it's easy, it doesn't need a lot of explanation, it's not technical, you literally just do it with them. And with the younger children, I literally just start doing it and then they start following. So it's really quick, easy, fast acting. And you're immediately meeting them where they're at. So that emotional part of the brain, you're saying to them, I see you, I recognize that you need my support here, and I am here for you. I'm seeing you, I'm accepting where you're at, and I'm bringing myself to you rather than making you come to me. Then we did the same breathing technique, but just sitting down. So we're starting to get the physical body to actually slow down a little bit, but still using that cleansing breath, releasing the heat, starting to release anxiety. Also, the longer exhales are actually working with the nervous system. So if you have a long exhale, you're activating the parasympathetic nervous system. So the parasympathetic is rest and digest part of the nervous system. So with those longer exhales that we get with that shh breath, we're activating the part of the nervous system automatically with, by taking the children into rest and digest. So we're starting to kickstart that part of the nervous system, saying like, hey, okay, come on, we need to be working with this side of the nervous system now. So those long exhalations are really beneficial for working with that kind of, so basically to start switching them over to rest and digest. So after that, we did the humming, we did massage, so a little bit of self-soothing. So we did tapping all down the body, and then massaging the ears. So when we're working with the ears and behind the ears especially, we're actually working with one particular nerve that is part of the nervous system. And with the massage of the ears and behind the ears, it's stimulating the nerve again to say, okay, now it's time to go into rest and digest phase. It's working directly with the parasympathetic nervous system to say, okay, let's chill out a little bit here, let's slow down. So again, it's not something that you need to tell them, you just need to encourage them to massage behind the ear and obviously the temples, so it's self-soothing and they're still getting movement. So if you have got children that are still hyper-aroused, particularly if you're working with children with ADHD, then they still need that movement. So it still gives them permission to move, to still be a little bit fidgety, but it's self-soothing movement, which is what we want to encourage. And then we did the humming bee breath. So it was known as humming bee breath. In Sanskrit, it's Brahmari breath. Super simple, again, does not require a lot of technique or focus. You can literally just do it and they will copy you. And again, you might notice when you did it, the exhalation is really long, okay? So especially with children under 10, they want to be the one with the longest humming sound, right? So, and I'm like, yes, go for it. Make it as long as you want, because the longer that humming sound, the longer the exhale, and therefore the more activated the parasympathetic nervous system. So they're taking themselves into rest and digest. They're taking themselves into restoration, cooling and calming. The humming sound itself, the vibration, is also soothing for the body. So again, it's working with this one particular nerve, and it goes down through the back of the ears and into the throat. So when we hum or sing, we're actually stimulating that nerve that is working again with the part of the nervous system that is saying, okay, rest and digest. So everything, even though it's playful and it might seem a bit weird, it is actually working with the physiology. It's working with the physical body for a purpose. So, yeah, it's a longer exhale. It's soothing, self-soothing. It's also when they close their eyes and cover their ears, of course, you're shutting down so much stimulation. So as I mentioned before, when they are in this state of anxiety, their senses are heightened. So the brain is really trying to absorb everything that it can hear and see and smell. So the moment you start to shut that down a little bit by getting them to close their eyes, cover their ears, then they can really focus fully on what's going on inside that body with that humming sound. And so it's naturally very grounding. It brings them back into the physical body, and it's starting to shut off all other stimulus, shutting the senses down, so that they can come into a place of being focused, so that when they do open their eyes and they do open their ears and release their hands, then they are the senses the senses are kind of back to normal. The senses are not trying to absorb everything, which is exhausting, right? The senses are trying to absorb everything that's going on. So they immediately come into a more focused state. And then we can really start with bringing them into a restorative state. So then you lay down, we did some belly breathing. In order to keep the mind focused, I introduced counting the breath and then a mantra. So counting the breath keeps them focused, because if you ask teens to lie down and just breathe into their belly for 3 minutes, those thoughts will come in. There'll be those worries, those stresses, those repetitive thought patterns will come back into the mind. So we need to keep that sense of focus by giving them something to concentrate on. So whether that is a mantra, counting the breath for them. For the younger ones who are unlikely to close their eyes, I like to just place something on their belly, so a stone or a crystal or a teddy bear or something, where they can actually watch their belly go up and down. So they're visually focused on one thing. They're really trying to breathe into their belly then, because they want this teddy bear or this rock to go up and down as much as possible on their belly. And yeah, most importantly, it's working with that part of the nervous system that is rest and digest. The mantra is obviously working more psychologically with the children here. So they're starting to come into this phase where the conscious part of the brain is taking over again. So they're not in the survival part of the brain, maybe a little bit, but less so. And so repeating that affirmation, I am calm, I am safe, I am calm, I am safe, in a slow rhythm with the body. Affirmations are so, so powerful. If you haven't used them before in your own life, if you think it's a load of crap, I totally understand where you're at, because for sure about 10 years ago, I was like, whatever, mantras, how can you just tell yourself that you're, intelligent or strong or beautiful, and then, oh, what, you just believe it? And it's like, oh, actually, yes, you do, because you are rewiring your brain. So psychologically, but also physically, you are working with the brain and getting children into that habit of coming back to an affirmation or a mantra that feels very strong for them. So I am calm, I am safe is a nice one to work with children and teens who are experiencing anxiety or stress. And then we didn't really do any restorative postures here. We just went straight into a Shavasana. But some restorative poses, really anything lying on your back. So lying on your back, if you've got props, if you've got cushions, you can put the props underneath your back to open up your chest more, so to help create space in the chest. So one thing that you might know, or you might have noticed in yourself, when you come into a state of anxiety, you instantly go into chest breathing and it feels like your chest is tight. So helping children to feel like their chest is open and spacious by putting a cushion or a block or a rolled up blanket underneath the back, underneath the shoulders, to help open up the chest. So it feels like they've got more space there, so it feels less tight. Twists, so again, lying down, just with the knees bent, dropping the knees to the right side, and breathing there for a couple of minutes, and then again over to the left side. So any kind of poses or shapes in which they're lying down with the back on the floor. If they're lying on the belly, it can be relaxing, but you've got to think that there's less space to breathe because the belly is going to push into the floor. So when we're working with children with anxiety and stress, we really want to make sure that the belly has space to move as much as possible, because this is like a massage for the organs. So it's like, hey, let's get working again. And obviously if there is space for the belly to move, it means there is space for the lungs to expand. Okay, so, and that's what we want. We want that slow, deep breath. So making sure the space for the belly and the chest can feel open. So lying on their back with any shape of arms and legs, basically. And then I led you through a body scan. So really simple, great for any age group. It's keeping the mind focused, but it's also, of course, self-awareness. So if they do feel their fist tight, drawing their attention to that and saying, my hands are relaxed, I relax my hands are relaxed. So it's self-awareness, and it's physically getting them to relax and open up any tightness that they might be actively holding on to in the body. And then we did a quick visualization of the worry tree. And I have that script written down, so I'll put that script in the on the platform, so if you want to use it, you can do. And it's just, if you watch my masterclass on visualizations, it's very similar in that telling the children that they are safe, that they are calm, they're in a place of their choosing. You know, they can be in any natural space. They can be, you know, a tree can be anywhere. A tree can be in the forest, can be in the mountains, can be in the beach. So wherever they feel safe. And then the idea that they tell the tree their problems, their worries, their stresses, and that it goes into the tree, into the earth, and then becomes something new, something beautiful. So that they're, again, releasing their worries, and they know that it's transforming into something else, something more positive. And I think it's important that, you know, we make sure that the children, and I think adults need to know this as well, that the reason that we feel this stress and that we have these problems and these thoughts, it is our brain trying to help us. It's our brain trying to keep us alive, actually. And so it's trying to do a good thing, and not to see these thoughts necessarily as negative and horrible and hating that part of their body or hating that part of their brain, but actually being aware of it and saying, okay, this is my brain trying to protect me, but actually it's not very helpful. So I'm going to release this, and it's, you know, going to go out visually, verbally, energetically into the world, but it's going to transform into something else. if that makes sense. That might seem a little bit woo-woo, but I think psychologically it's important that we make sure that children have a good connection and a positive association with what the brain and the body are trying to do. Because especially for teens, when they are experiencing anxiety or just in general life, they can have a lot of hate and dislike towards their own body and their brain. Like, why is my body doing this? You know, why won't my body let me feel calm? Why is my brain not letting me do this? Why is it sending me all of these thoughts all of the time and driving me crazy? And so rather than seeing that part of their own body and brain as negative, as, you know, disliking it, really nurturing themselves and saying, oh, do you know what, my brain is actually, it's sending me this signal because I need to release this thing, or it's trying to protect me. You know, my nervous system is just trying to protect me, it's trying to do a good thing, but I need to, you know, retrain it with this breathing technique. I need to use this new affirmation to retrain it so that instead of saying I am stressed, I'm going to train my brain to say I am calm, I am safe. And then another thing that we cannot do when we are doing this virtually, but when you do get to see actual real life children and teenagers, you can use calming music. Well, I did have calming music, but it's not quite the same. Singing bowls, if you've got them, anything that's really soothing. Oils. So I am a big fan of using essential oils, whether that's just diffusing them in the classroom, spraying them around the room, or for teenagers, I do let them put a little dab on their shirt so they can smell it. Lighting is super, super important. So again, coming back to shutting down the senses, it's like switching, especially for the younger ones, you know, you switch a light on and it's bright and they're like, woo, ready to go. Switch the lights down, it's like they're chickens. Okay, now it's nighttime. Now it's time to chill out a little bit. So the lighting is also important. And then the blankets, eye pillows, again, to reduce the stimulation and reducing overwhelm of the senses. And then with these groups of children, I would say major things to avoid with regards to the breathing particularly is not to encourage them to breathe into their chest, because naturally when they come into a state of anxiety attack or panic attack, they only breathe into their chest. So we always want to be encouraging them to breathe into their belly, to retrain the body to be belly breathing. Avoid any breathing techniques that encourage the breath to be fast. So when we are working with teenagers and we want to, you know, they're in a bit of a lazy mood and we need to kind of get some fire burning, we would do breathing techniques that are faster. But if you've got children in that class that experience anxiety, that is something that you want to avoid. Avoiding holding the breath, so breath retentions, because again, naturally when the body is going into a state of stress or anxiety, we hold the breath. And so we want to just basically do the exact opposite. We want to be training the body to be doing these long exhalations, belly breathing, full body breathing, slow and controlled, and making sure that we're not complicating them with any instructions. So anything you introduce to children who are whether experiencing anxiety or they're in a overstimulated, overexcited state, overwhelming them with instructions is definitely going to be helpful, because their brain is not processing that at all, and it just can heighten the anxiety. So everything that you introduce to them is 1 or 2 steps, you know, literally lie down and place your hands on your belly. That's it. Or it's something that you can do with them. So, okay, we're going to do humming deep breath now. It looks like this. And you just do it, and they join in. So not overcomplicating instructions at all. So, I know that was a lot. Typically what we would do in our workshops now kind of goes like this. So we do a little bit of putting yourself in the shoes of the child or the teenager, going through everything here, and then I would typically do Q&A and split everybody up into small groups, which is very cool that you can do that in Zoom. So I would say, okay, you four ladies, you're going to go into this group and talk about brainstorm some ideas for breathing techniques for children aged 3 to 7 with anxiety. And you four ladies are going to get together and you're going to focus on teenagers with anxiety. And then we come back together, share our ideas, and then we do a little bit of practice teaching as well. And that's how our 4-hour workshops typically go. So this is kind of like the first half of how our workshops are in the teacher training. So I just have 2 questions for you. So how are you feeling now? So you can type in the chat box or you can unmute yourself, obviously, very small group, and just notice how are you feeling. So whether that's that you're feeling calm and grounded. So okay, if you're feeling overloaded with lots of information, that's sometimes how it can be. So if you let me know how you're feeling, and I would love to know one thing that you learned today from the workshop. So one thing that you found interesting or valuable from the workshop. Nice, grounded and confident. I love that. I love that you're feeling confident. Inspired, that's nice, Rachel. Awesome. Calm and grateful, very nice. Lovely words. And what is one thing that you learned today that you found interesting or valuable? And sometimes on the workshops, it's that you found out something about yourself, which I think is what makes the teacher training. It's not just about learning new skills and knowledge, but it's definitely an opportunity to learn something about yourself, about your body, about your psychology, which is also a really great reason to actually get into the child's shoes, because you kind of go back into your inner child, and sometimes you learn something that's more personal, in which obviously you don't have to share. But yeah, it's not just about, the training's not just about learning lots of new skills and techniques, but sometimes it's about personal development as well. I think it's always about personal development, especially within yoga. Humming massaging is use of prop on the belly. Okay, nice. You've learned lots of nice little bits and pieces there. Rachel, new breathing techniques that are easy and practical. Yeah, I really feel like breathing should be easy and effortless, even if you're manipulating it. So that's cool that you've got some new techniques. Oh, thank you. It's all packed with amazing things, all incredibly important. Thank you. That's what I'm trying to share, as much valuable things as possible. And the worry tree, yeah, I'll definitely put the worry tree meditation in your platform so that you can try it out if you want. Who has children? Who either has children at home? Who has access to children now? Who has either children at home or children that you're teaching online or working with online in any capacity? Does anybody have the opportunity to maybe practice a couple of these techniques at some point this week? So I would love to know if you're intending to try some of this with little ones or teenagers in your life. Yes, cool. I don't currently have any little ones to try this with. I just have my 25 adult teacher trainees who are all very, very playful, thankfully. Teenagers next week. Awesome. Cool. Well, yeah, I hope you can try some of this with your teenagers, if not all of it, and add on to it. All right, so yeah, this was just a little taster. It was, well, 90 minutes, so a little taster of what you can expect from the weekly, well, we have twice weekly workshops if you are interested in joining the training. And obviously it is different because after the first couple of weeks, in fact, before by the end of the first week, really, the community is so close, and you can read the reviews and things of the are currently taking it. But I've actually been so amazed at how close the community is, considering it's not even considering it. Yeah, it being online, I thought it was going to be so different to it being in person. But everybody's really come together, and everybody's so supportive and sharing ideas. And this week we haven't had any classes. It's time for people to catch up on the recordings, catch up on assignments, because not everybody is able to attend the live sessions, which is totally fine. I respect that everybody's got a lot going on, particularly now. And they're getting together this morning to like practice teach, and they're organizing everything independently because they still want to keep on learning, keep on enhancing the community. And so they're already together doing their own thing outside of the course as well. So it's a really, really beautiful community. And yeah, and so this is basically what it is. And as I said, if it was a 4-hour workshop, it would be that we would have some group time, we would have a group discussion, so then everybody gets to talk and input, and it's definitely not just me talking at you. I think 4 hours of overload of information just wouldn't work. You need some implementation, you need some practice teaching time, and you definitely need time to share your own ideas and opinions and beliefs as well, which is what we do in the small group discussions and the entire group sharing. So does anybody have any questions, whether it's about the workshop or it's about the teacher training? If you are still considering joining but you're not sure about something in particular, you can type it in the chat box, or of course you can always email me with any questions at all. And yeah, basically we start on the 14th of July, but I'm going to close registrations. I can't remember what day I've put on the website, but I'm definitely going to close registrations by the 5th of July, if not before, because I want that time before the training starts to actually really get to know everybody on the training. What I did on the last one was I closed registrations basically 24 hours before the training started, and it was just too much, having people emailing me with like so many questions, and then at the same time trying to get to know the new training group. So I want those 10 days before to really get into the community and be like, who is doing what, where is everybody at, how can I fully get to know you before the training actually starts, so that I know that I'm tailoring the curriculum towards what everybody wants, what everybody needs and finds interesting. So registrations are going to close the 5th of July, maybe before, and we start on the 14th, and it's 10 weeks. And we'll have an implementation week halfway through, so that you do get time to watch the recordings, do some assignments, implement whatever you need to. Okay, so Annika, you're going to be watching this again. Yeah, well, it's there available for you to watch as many times as you need to, or even in bite-sized pieces as well. And it's awesome to know that you're going to be practicing some of these techniques with your daughter and one of the children that you work with anxiety. That's awesome. You can actually go out there and practice this straight away. That's the best way to do it. And I'm very happy to hear you feeling motivated and obviously excited to get out there and do it. All right, well, if there are no questions right now, obviously email me with anything that comes up. And I really do hope to see you on the full teacher training. It would be absolutely wonderful to have you ladies there. And yeah, until then, if not, then I hope to still see you in my community and on other workshops. But yeah, until then, any questions, you've got my email, you can just let me know. Any questions? And I hope you have a wonderful evening or day wherever you're at. Thank you so much for taking the time to be hear and to watch this, and let me know, definitely let me know when you try out these activities and techniques and how they went for you, because it's really important to implement them. And of course, one of the major benefits of doing this is to know that children all over the globe are getting experience with these techniques. So please email me and let me know how it goes with your little ones and your teenagers. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. And I will see you around. Bye. Adios.